You have been busy all day. Fans have been coming up to you literally every minute. We've been trying to interview you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Well, thanks a lot for having me on your show.
Absolutely. All right, absolutely. So Plasmatics, we have Richie here from Plasmatics. He is so kind. We know him because Scott from Asylum Records, which we absolutely love. What does it mean to be able to be here at Med Monster and have all of your fans come up to you each and every day?
Well, Scott invited me down last year to his record store to do a signing, and I was like, well, does anybody remember the Plasmatics? And you know, and is there anybody in Phoenix that's going to want to see me and sign autographs and all that stuff? And I came down last year, and we had a great turnout, and it was fantastic.
I mean, the turnout today has been fantastic as well. Our booth is right across from you guys, and we have been seeing just so many fans come up. It has been such a fantastic turnout. Now, for anyone that's not familiar with Plasmatics, what can you say about the band? Because I've heard it's pretty badass. Excuse my French.
Okay, well, first of all, going back to Mad Monster, I'm going to just backtrack a bit. Scott then, after we did the show, he says, you got to do Mad Monster. And I go, what the hell is Mad Monster? And so this is like the big leagues. This is like, so I got to meet some of the characters down here. I met the Freddy Krueger, the guy that plays, you know, Jason, and the android that was in Aliens, and it's like, wow, you know, it's like, you know, I always wanted to be a monster. I never made it when I was a kid. But what does the band name of the Plasmatics mean? When we started back in 1977, 1978, it's hard to talk about what I felt then, but I was just a young kid, 24 years old, 25 years old. I'll put it this way. Wendy Williams, the band was started with Wendy, myself, Stu Deutsch, and Jose Fonahara. And we got up on stage. I was playing guitar. I had I've told this story so many times, like a shag haircut or a David Bowie looking thing or whatever. And I look over, and Wendy had pulled her top down, and I said, I got to get my act together here, you know? Like, I got to join the fun, because my friend that was playing bass was this Japanese guy named Jose Fonahara, and he had like a shaved head, and he had all sorts of, he was in great shape and everything, and I was like, Wendy looked great, and I was like, you know. So one thing led to another, and we went out to just push the limits and push buttons and any other way in the beginning. And then there's some fans over there. They're screaming. I don't even know, all of a sudden. The guy over there, for instance, I'm over at the booth, right? And he walks by and he says, are you Richie Stotts? Like, how did this guy recognize me? He owns a goat farm. Well, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, Fall. You know Fall?
Oh, I don't know him, you know, or don't know him.
Okay, so we just had a great time doing the bear. But what's so great is to come back after so many years. I went back to school and, you know, did all this other stuff. And now it's like I'm giving back, I feel, at least connecting. There was these two little girls, well, actually these two little young Mexican girls came by with all stuff. I couldn't have been more than 20 years old, and they're looking at the stuff, and I didn't think they were going to be interested in anything. Oh, Wendy Williams, Wendy was my favorite, and Butcher Baby is my favorite song. I was like, Butcher Baby, like, that's kind of a radical song, you know? And that's the song they like. And they got a photo that I signed, and I have some guitar picks, and they left without taking the guitar picks. I tried to search around, but they're gone. But it's been fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's been fun.
Hopefully tomorrow they'll be back to be able to get those guitar picks. Now, I'm going to come back to what your favorite villain is, but first, like, I mean, art is truly timeless. Like, you know what I mean? It expands across all demographics, all ages, and everything like that. So what does it mean for you that you have these people that you're like, oh, they might not be into my band, but they know your band and it has such an impact on them?
So they know the band, but
they're the new generation.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing. I'm thinking like, oh, there's going to be like, you know, older people that, oh, I saw you at like the Hole in the Wall in New Jersey and stuff like that. I got one on Facebook today, and that's great. because those are like the fans that saw us in the day, but that there's actually people that they know more about stuff than I do, and it's really freaking exciting. So it's great that we do have fans that are still there, and I think there's a real honesty about the band, whether you like it or not. It's true to what we were, and I think there's a Plasmatic family out there. There's the band started in 1978, 1983. We ended sort of like phase one, and I was part of that. And there was a few different members. Wendy went on to do her solo album. There's another Plasmatic album, and I think that's all great. It's like this big family, you know, and we're all part of it. And there's mistakes been made. There's things that are crazy, but that's the whole thing. It's not perfect, but like blowing up cars and stuff. I told this story the other day. Some kid said to me, he says, this sums me up in the Plasmatics. They said, oh, what, how come is that fake blood on your head and stuff? And it's like professional wrestling. It started, I started playing, here, I started playing guitar underneath my legs. And then Then I started playing, I'm gonna be like Jimi Hendrix, play behind my, yeah, go nuts, right? You know? And then I said, well, I'm gonna bang it on my head, you know? And then one day I started bleeding. If you see there, I got, hey. Richie! He'll kill you with his guitar. Sorry, and so will Matt. George Jones. Knights of St. Service. He's a big George Jones fan too. I love George Jones. Anyway, I banged my head on the guitar. I got a scar here still, and it was bleeding, right? And I was like, oh fuck, you know. But I still was cool. I was like so excited. So I did it again, and then somebody told me, they say like, well, you know, you could put fake blood on your head and you don't need to bang your head. So I said, that's really good. So I went out and got some fake blood, little thing. So like, I'm playing and like when nobody's looking, you know, but then sometimes there would be blood with the fake blood. So it's like professional wrestling in a sense, what is real and what is not real. Jimi Hendrix, I'll quote Jimi Hendrix on Dick Cavett, kind of not quite so true. Dick Cavett says, so, you know, you're using effects with your guitar, and wouldn't it be better play without the effects? And Hendrix is like, you know, with the helium head and everything like this. Well, you know, they're dropping napalm in Vietnam, you know what I mean? So, so kind of, you get the point, right? Like, what is it? It's music. You can do anything you want. Sometimes people, if you're going to judge us on pure music like the Eagles or something, we were doing stuff that, we were a revolutionary band. And Wendy was like, by far, pushing things so far. I'm talking about the band, but she herself was pushing so much stuff for women in rock, for music, and she was my inspiration to get, like I said, when she dropped her top off, you know what I mean?
I mean, what better inspiration than, you know, having a drop top? Now, really quick, I know it's been a really long day. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Now, you mentioned earlier that there was a bunch of celebrities here, obviously, like, you know, who had played villains that you got to meet. If you could play one villain, who would it be?
Frankenstein.
Boom,
Nailed
you
it.
have it.
Yeah, that on ready.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Pleasure meeting you.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.
Okay.